A few days ago on December 10th, I reached 1,000 subscribers, which is just really cool. It's kind of surreal that I've hit quadruple digits. I know in the modern YouTube space, 1,000 is practically nothing, but as someone who's been doing this for over 3 years at this point, and for about half of that I wasn't even in triple digits, 1,000 feels like such a big milestone, and like the idea of being a larger and recognizable creator is actually possible. So to celebrate, I will be doing a Q&A, which is what this video is. Originally, I was going to do a Q&A and a showcase of my current LEGO collection. That's what I've been advertising as my 1K celebration video for like the past 3 months. But I've had some complications with the collection tour part of this video, and I want to get this thing out within a reasonable amount of time after I've hit 1K. So this video is unfortunately just going to be the Q&A, which I am pretty disappointed about. For the last like 3 months, I've been saying at the end of my videos I will be doing both a Q&A and a collection showcase, and now that kind of just feels like a lie. But yeah, so unfortunately we are just stuck with the Q&A. If I do get the tour to work, then I will upload that as a separate video, since I have the whole thing filmed. I do already have the whole thing filmed. I just had some complications actually getting it uploaded. Oh yeah, sorry about that. I probably hate it more than you guys do. But let's just get on with the Q&A. The first question I'll be answering comes from HD Ninja MS Brick Studios. If you had to be one character from Ninjago experiencing all their pain and loss, success and happiness, who would they be? Now, I'm assuming you're referring to like a main character. I think that would be either between Kai or Cole, if we're just sticking with main-ish characters. Because I think out of all of the ninja, Kai and Cole have had the least traumatic lives, I guess. Since obviously there's Lloyd, which I don't think I needed to explain why I would not want to be him. Zane has the whole thing of literally discovering that he is not human. As well, he has literally watched his girlfriend die in his arms before, as well as watch her turn into the ocean. And then there's, of course, the current thing with him having amnesia. Sora, of course, had a very traumatic childhood. And then Aaron has all of his insecurities about not fitting in and not being good enough. And then, of course, there's the whole thing of him losing his parents, his home, literally everything he had in the merge. So yeah, I think out of all of like the main characters, either Kai or Cole would be the best. Because, and then there's Nia, who has literally died. I think I would go with Cole, because as well, Kai and Nia have the whole thing with their parents, and then Kai with the what he experienced in the land of monsters. So I think I would have to go with Cole. There's also Frack. Either Cole or Frack. Though then again, Cole does have the whole experience of being a ghost. So I'd probably go with Frack. And that was not the only question MS Brick Studios asked. They also asked, what is your favorite Ninjago episode, favorite show, favorite elemental power, and favorite design ever? Starting with my favorite Ninjago episode, I've thought about this, and I know what my least favorite episode is. My least favorite episode of the original show is Blackout, and then my least favorite episode of Dragon's Rising is The Great Zane Robbery. But then my favorite episode... There were so many good episodes. I would probably go with The Son of Lily, but there were just so many amazing ones. But yeah, I think I would go with The Son of Lily, and then also Big Trouble Little Ninjago is up there. Those two episodes are probably my favorites. And then my favorite show is, of course, Ninjago. But then second favorite, I think my second favorite would be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012 show, though there is another show that I have been really into at the moment, and that is the Amazing Digital Circus. That show has so far been absolutely phenomenal. I didn't love it at first, but it has really, really grown on me in the past 2 years since it began. And as of recording this, the seventh episode just came out yesterday, and that episode was a lot and absolutely amazing. It might not be my favorite or second favorite show, but I think it is probably the show that I'm the most invested in at the moment. And favorite elemental power. I have thought about this one as well, but I don't think I ever came up with a solid answer. It would probably be Earth, because that's a really cool element. I'd also maybe say water. I really like water. So I think I would have to go with one of those two. Earth is probably the coolest element, at least in my opinion. But if I had to choose an elemental power that I would like to have, I would probably go with water. And in favorite design ever, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. I assume like suit design, ninja. Like what's my favorite ninja suit we've ever gotten? And I have a few favorites. I think some of my favorites are the Deep Stone suits, the Eujitsu suits, the Fugitive suits, and then the Source Tournament suits. I think those are probably my top four. But then also the Island suits and the Honor robes are really, really good. So I think those are my, what is that, top 6 favorites? Okay, now the next question by Lloyd is the best ninja. What is your favorite Ninjago set? My favorite Ninjago set is actually probably a bit more of a hot take. It is the Skull Sorcerer's Dungeon from season 13, Master of the Mountain. I absolutely love that set. It does an amazing job at being both a play set that has tons of space to pose minifigures, as well as a pretty great display piece. This thing looks amazing on a shelf. And it's just so big, especially for the price. It was $100, and they absolutely make the most of that. There is, like I said, just so much room for minifigures. There's, of course, like the Technic play function that runs throughout the entire set, which is really fun. And then there's even an interior. They did not need to include an interior, but they did, and it's awesome. Yeah, that is my favorite Ninjago set. The next question is, how would you have changed Ninjago? And I do actually have a solid answer for this. If I were to change one thing about the entire show, it would be I would want the entire thing to be planned out ahead of time. And now I am just talking about the original show here because of course that is Dragon's Rising's biggest strength, is how every season works together to make one big story and they all flow together. And that's probably the original show's weakest aspect because of course the original show is only meant to be 2 seasons. The original 6 ninja were only created to fit within 2 seasons in a pilot. So after that they just had to keep adding more and more onto them. In a lot of areas it worked out really, really well, but at the same time you could definitely tell that it was not planned whatsoever. If Ninjago's entire 15 season long story was at least somewhat planned out from the beginning, then the show overall would have been a lot better. So yeah, that is what I would change. That was a great question. And our final 2 questions for today come from Rising Dragon Studios. What YouTube videos do you watch? And if you could write the next season for Ninjago Dragon's Rising, what would you write about? As for what YouTube videos do I watch quite a variety of stuff. Though I think my absolute favorite genre of YouTube videos are video essays, which I think is pretty obvious from my channel. I love myself a nice long chunky video essay about typically a piece of fictional media. QnA Ninjago, some of my favorite YouTubers are Bindo Bricks, Krusty783, and there are others. But I also watch a lot of non-Ninjago video essay stuff. And then after that, the thing I watch the most of, actually I probably watch this more than I watch video essay stuff, is Minecraft content. And when I say Minecraft, I specifically mean the SMP Hermitcraft, which is a very long-running Minecraft multiplayer server with tons of content creators. I just got into it a few years ago, and the main people I watch are Grian, Gemini Tay, Mumbo Jumbo, Good Time with Scar, and Pearlescent Moon. I'm not a big fan of modern Minecraft content. A lot of it's just way too fast paced and over edited for my liking. But then this group of people's content is like the perfect sweet spot for me. It's a lot of fun, pretty chaotic, and there's always a lot happening, but it's still at a good pace. And it's just really nice, and probably the group of YouTubers I'm into the most at the moment. And then for if you could write the next season of Dragon's Rising. Okay, so I think just ignoring everything that we already know about season 4, or I don't know. If I could write the next season for Ninjago Dragon's Rising, what would I write about? I think me personally, if I was writing, I would probably focus a lot more on Roz and the Source Dragons, because Roz kind of took a bit of a back seat in season 3, so I would probably feel the need to give him more spotlight in season 4, so then he would probably be the main villain again for the 4th season. The Source Dragons would probably get a lot of attention. The new ninja would get a lot of attention as well. I would make sure that Cole gets to play a part in the main plot. But yeah, I think if I were to write the 4th season without knowing what we already know about season 4 and just going off like the end of season 3, would probably be like a lot more Roz heavy, a lot more maybe Woo heavy. We'd probably start to get answers for a lot of the questions that have been asked. Okay, now we do actually have one more final question from Rising Dragon Studios, and that is, what is one tip you have about making YouTube videos? I know this is going to be really, really generic, but the absolute number one piece of advice I would give to anyone wanting to make YouTube videos is to just do it. I know that's like really, really generic, but it's true. It's true. My first ever videos are complete garbage. They are like actually unwatchable. But without those videos, I would not be making the videos I am today. And like, I'm not saying that the videos I make now are amazing, but I like to think that they're watchable. But then I guess that only applies to people who don't already have a YouTube channel and are only thinking about making one. So for people who do already have a YouTube channel, which I don't know if you do or not, I'd say maybe just stay relevant. And by that I don't mean to be like jumping on every new trend. For example, making Ninjago videos. If you're making Ninjago videos, you should maybe, make videos on the most recent seasons. Like, and this is specifically for smaller creators. It's probably a good idea to make content on the most recent seasons and not on say season 6 or 9 or 12 or so. Yeah, so just try and like keep up with the most recent stuff, but at the same time make sure that your videos are still you. Like, don't make a video just because you think it would do really well. make sure that what you're making is something that you would like and that you think you would want to watch. So yeah, this might not be the best advice. I'm the most qualified person to ask. So yeah, so in summary, if you want to make YouTube videos, unless there's a specific reason as to why you can't, then do it. And then as well, make sure your videos are a good blend of relevant topics, but also topics that you are personally interested in. And I think the biggest thing is to make videos that you yourself would want to watch. Like I said earlier that my favorite types of videos are video essay style videos, and that's what I make. I'm sure if I was just some random person who stumbled across my videos, then I would be quite fond of my channel. And I really hope that that didn't sound too egotistical. Oh, but yeah, that is all the questions I got. Thank you very much to everyone who asked a question. Again, I am very sorry about the collection showcase part of this video. If I'm able to get that recording to cooperate, then I will upload it as a separate video, but no promises. But yeah, one last time, thank you very much for 1,000 subscribers. Thank you to everyone who asked a question, and if this is the last video I put out before Christmas, Merry Christmas. And with that, really appreciate it. If you took 2 seconds to like and subscribe. Bye.